Hi guys, welcome to this first tutorial. I'm going to be talking you through how to create a digital piece of artwork on Photoshop. So I'm using a Wacom tablet and drawing straight into Photoshop on my laptop. So I've just done a quick sketch of a goat and now I'm going to be going over with some final line art. So all I've done is I've created a new layer on top of my sketch layer and I've turned the opacity down on the sketch layer so it's semi-transparent so I can still see through from the layer on top. So after you've finished your final line art, I'm just going to go and start to fill in my block colours. So use the picker and then start creating your block colours. So using a reference image is always good for this. If you can't quite find the colour that you want, I always just pull up an image on the internet and use the colour picker, pick colours from that. It's good for things like animal horns or certain fur you can't get the right colour with the picker. So don't be afraid to use reference images. It's always a good tool to have, and you can open them up in Photoshop as well, so you can have them alongside as you're drawing and just constantly pick the colours that you need. So I wasn't quite happy with how this colouring was going. It was a little bit too cold, so I just changed it into a warmer tone of white just to give it more of a warmth to the drawing. So as you're drawing and you're colouring in, don't be afraid to make mistakes. It's all a learning process. There's so many different settings and modes you can have on your layers and your brushes. So it's good just to experiment with it all. As well, different opacities. So when I'm putting in my block colour, I like to have the opacity up to 100 so that the colour is going to be even the whole way through. And make sure you just keep zooming in and out and get an overall look of your image. Also, a good tip, name your layers. I always forget to do this at the beginning, but it does get very confusing. So I'm just naming my layers now, doing a colour layer, a line layer, and now I'm just going to add some shading in. So for your shading, you're going to want to use a multiply layer. So set the multiply mode on the layer, and I also do the same on the brush. I turn the opacity right down. I've got it on 21% at the minute, and that means that you can just layer on top and it's not a super dark shadow to start with. So the multiply layer is really good for this because it allows you to see right through the colour like it would do on a normal shadow in real life, and it doesn't block out what's underneath it. So I'm just going now and I'm putting in my shadow. You can already see it starts to add a good sense of depth to your drawing. And you want to figure out where your light source is coming from. So my light source is coming from top left corner, coming down on top of the goat. So most of the shadow is going to be underneath the jaw, underneath the goatee beard, under the horns and the fetlock and those kind of areas. So if you're ever unsure, again, get a reference image up. You can see where their light source is, you can copy it from that, or even just look in the mirror and see where the light bounces off your face and where your deep shadows are, where your light shadows are, etc. Now it's time to add a bit of light to the drawing. So you add a new layer and you want to set this layer to overlay mode, and again set that to the brush as well. So this again allows you to add a lighter shade to the drawing with still being able to see the drawing underneath. So a little bit like the multiply layer, but instead of dark and shadow, it's more of a light. So it will affect each colour differently, and you can see that on the white parts of the goat it shows up differently to what it shows up on the horn. It's more of a warm colour on the horn. So that's completely normal. It interacts with different colours differently as it would do in real life. So for your lighter colour you want to get a nice warm tone to it. So on your colour picker you want to go for your lights, oranges, your reds, and it adds a warmth to it and it adds a nice glow. It's really good for using if you have a light source that's glowy, or if you've got a drawing of a fire or anything like that. It's good for those. Always use the overlay. It's a really good mode to use. So I constantly turn the layers on and off, and then you can really see what difference each layer makes, and then you can go back in and you can change bits and bobs. So here I'm just going over a bit of my shading. I'm not 100% happy with it. Absolutely fine. So just I'm just taking that right back down. Make sure that when you use your eraser, have a nice feathering on it, so it doesn't leave a harsh line behind it. I'm just stripping that back again. And now I'm going to add another level of depth to it, so I'm adding another darker layer. So I've just labelled it as dark, set it to multiply again, but I've just up to the opacity to 50%. So this is a much darker shadow, so this is going to make it pop even more. So I'm just going into all the places where you would get the darker shadows, under the jaw, in the nose, in the ear, that kind of thing, and you can really see it adds that extra level of depth to your drawing. I hope that you enjoyed this video and you can put some of these things into practice. I try and put new videos up every week. Please like, subscribe, share, hit that notification button, and I'll see you in another video.